All right, today's notes we are going to be taking are going to go right in our triangles notebook. So take your blue triangles notebook out, and we are going to flip open to the very next page. You should have your first half page should have all of your CP, CTC stuff on it, and that should be the first page. The second page that we're going to flip to is going to be where we're going to do our writing today. So on the top, we're going to make 3 columns. We're going to talk about 3 different properties of congruence. So if you want to, properties of congruence. The first property of congruence, I'm going to use a different color pen so you can see it a little bit better, is the reflexive. Reflexive, like a reflex. Reflexive property of congruence. Okay? And what the property is, we're going to do 3 different properties. You can make a little chart, or you can use half the page, the top half. And what the reflexive property of congruence, if you think about your legs and when you go to the doctor and they test your reflexes and they hit your knee and your knee kicks out and it returns back to where it was, that's kind of what the reflexive property of congruence has. It says, let me give you a picture. If we have and then we'll go here. Boom. Nice little rhombus. Looks like we got a rhombus there. Okay? And we have A and B and C and D. And then we have AC. So now we've taken a rhombus and we've made 2 triangles out of it. And we're talking about properties of congruence. So what we're saying is, see this side AC, how AC is part of 2 different triangles? What we're saying is AC in triangle ADC is going to be congruent to AC in triangle ABC. So AC is going to be congruent to AC, and we'll put line segments over top. Does that make sense? So the reflexive property is for shared sides, and I'll highlight the shared side. If it is shared in multiple shapes, what it says is that it is congruent to itself. Okay, the next property that we're going to talk about is the symmetric property of congruence. Okay, and we're going to need another picture. So I'll do a triangle here. And we'll call this triangle ADC. And then we'll actually do a triangle upside down. And we'll make that one ADB. So take a second, make your triangle. And what it says is the symmetric property of congruence says if AB is congruent to CD, and how would I make that congruent? I would make AB is congruent to CD. Then you could say that CD is congruent to AB. Okay, so if you say it one way, starting with this one, going to that one, then you could also flip it and start with this one and say, go to that one. Okay, so that's the symmetric property of congruence, that you can flip them and they're still congruent to each other. The last one is called the transitive property of congruence. And this one, I'm going to give you your if-then statement. If AB is congruent to CD and CD is congruent to EF, then by the transitive property of congruence, AB is congruent to EF. Okay, and for this one, I'm not even going to make, well, I would. Not even going to make a triangle. Well, I'll make a triangle. Triangle. Now, I'm going to make that 2 upside down triangles just like we did. So make that one. Then we're going to make another one here. See how we can make this work now. So we have A, B, C, D, E, and make another triangle here. So we've got 4 different triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. F. And if we say that AB is congruent to CD, there are my congruent markings, and I'm going to highlight them because this is getting a little bit confusing for you. And CD is congruent to EF, then, so AB is congruent to CD, and CD is congruent to EF, then AB and EF are congruent. Okay, so those are your 3 properties of congruence that we're going to learn and start working with in class. Okay, bring these in tomorrow. We'll start practicing with them.